Well, Ronnie, thank you very much for joining me, and it was so good to connect with you at the Ritz-Carlton, Miami. I followed your career for many years, and it was just absolutely amazing. When you guys decided to partner with us at EXP in 2024, and your trajectory has been nothing short of absolutely monumental, from being top 10 Remax in the world for 16 years, top five in Remax in the United States for 17 years, and the number one team in your state for 20 years, the state of Texas, which is absolutely fantastic. You've got over 15,000 home sales under your belt. This is just truly remarkable in a career spanning, well over 3 decades. And so, tell us, how did you get started, first of all, in real estate, and what compelled you to get into the real estate space and make that alignment with Remax? And then further, why is it that 30 plus years into such a stellar, one of the best careers in history, you decide to make the move to EXP?
Well, we got into real estate by accident, truthfully. In the 80s, people think about the crash of 2008, 9, and 10, and somebody's trying to end. Oh, well, I guess it'll go away in a second. Sorry. Um, in Houston and in the United States, the big recession was in the 80s, and particularly Houston and Texas because it's oil related. Uh, I was in the construction business, had a good company, was doing well. I had 70 guys working for me in 1985. And over the next, by October 1987, I'd gotten not been paid about $4 or $5 million the work I'd done. And next thing I woke up one day broke. I talked to my wife, Cathy, and said, okay, we're broke. What do we do next? And I'm a high school dropout. Cathy had 2 years of college, so we had nothing really. What are we going to do? And so we decided real estate. Always liked real estate. I had actually gotten a real estate license right out of high school, had just never used it. I guess fate told me one day this is my calling. And the first year, January 1st, 1988, in our first year of real estate, we sold 52 homes, and the
Amazing.
average sales price was 51,000. So gross commission $75,000, which 52 homes in your first year is a lot of houses. Even
Unbelievable, yeah.
and the next year, I think we sold 89 or so. Next year it's 140, and then it just grew. Our biggest, our last 15 years, we sold between 1,000, 1,300 homes a year. Of course, we started with just Cathy and I, and then we added an assistant by the end of the first year, and who, by the way, worked for me for 30 years before she retired. Um, and then we added, and I never, we didn't have big teams back in those days. We kind of, in a sense, almost created teams. It was happening around the country, but suddenly people realized real estate was a business, could be a career, and that there was an opportunity to make real money. And so we just added. I never went out to have a goal to have a big team. And at our largest account in Cathy and I, it was 21 people. So that was the most we ever had. Never had independent contractors. I didn't want independent contractors. So all of my people were employees, and we provided them with medical insurance. We provided them with 401k programs. I hated turnover. So I wanted that stability of building something that was consistent and last. And, and that we were able to do that, and it just was, even today, you don't see a lot of it, but there are some people that kind of have that setup as far as with employees or some combination of both. But 100% of my people were employees, and never had an independent contractor that worked for me. And, we just was lucky. I'm moving where that sun's a little different. Um, Somehow or another was able to just adapt to the market. And as it changed, we changed. Um, Selling what we called our regular homes and regular listings, which was people that were generated and wanted to sell their house, wanted to buy their house, and from different marketing from previous clients. And then in the early 90s, we started connecting with new home builders. Houston builds more new homes than anywhere, in the country, basically, and all the major home builders are here. So we connected with them and kind of built a relationship where if they had somebody that needed to sell a home before they could buy and they didn't have a realtor, we were the recommended realtor. And that became a big part of our business. And then later on, we ended up having relocation business. We got into that. 2008, 9, and 10, we got into the foreclosure business. Didn't like the business, but that's all that was selling. So, in a 2-year period, we sold about 1,000 new homes. I mean, foreclosures. And then it got to, as that downsized and they started trying to squeeze real estate fees, we said, we're not dealing with you guys anymore, and moved on. Our biggest year ever was 2012. And I got a referral from a property management company that we had sent business over the years. A hedge fund out of Europe was looking to buy homes in Houston. And in 18 months, we sold them 750 homes. Average price was about 200,000. So it wasn't high priced. In 2012, which was our biggest year ever, we had GCI of about 7.5 million.
And in 2012.
Which, you're right. And that's 2012. So 12 years ago. And by the way, our average price was about 250,000.
Yeah.
To do that. And then after there, of course, it's settled back down. The hedge funds quit buying. And we settled in selling about 1,100 homes a year, about 6.5 million in gross commission was kind of my average those last several years. And then in 2017, I sold my company to the employees and turned it over to them. I had started a title company in 2006, and it was really growing. I had a partner. We developed subdivisions, and that was really going. And then I had commercial investment. So truthfully, I got a little bit bored with real estate. And the last 5 years in it, I was spending no more than 10 hours a week anyway. So that was my way of rewarding our employees. And it's, of course, the real estate market's tougher now. They're not doing the same kind of business that we did. The team has shrunk, but they're still rocking along and still producing, 90, 100 million a year in sales from what we left them. Yeah.
And so you've done what, over 25 subdivisions and over 10,000 lots as well, personally?
Yes. Yeah. As far as I have a partner, great partner, and we've teamed up for 25 years, and we have 3 subdivisions going now, about 1,000 acres. And it's, it's fun. Of course, it's fun because he does all the work and I just kind of ride along now. Great partner.
Yeah. It's amazing the opportunity that real estate gives you in terms of as so many doors, right? You're talking about title, escrow, development, right? There's just so many opportunities that come forth with it if your eyes are open,
Yeah, and a lot of real estate agents, kind of get in the edges of title, sort of one of those things that, oh, the title business is so profitable, we want to get in there. And truthfully, the title business is a tough business. It's very regulated. Department of Insurance in Texas is who you answer to. Lots of rules, lots of regulations. But I took it and grew it. And when I sold the company a couple of years ago, we were the 3rd largest in Houston, had about 175 employees, had 13 offices, really a top-notch company. And by pure luck, I got out of it at the right time. Obviously, the real estate market's a lot tougher now than it was then. So luck goes a long way. Hard work and luck.
Yeah, no kidding. So tell us about your transition. I mean, such a stellar career, one of the best careers at RE/MAX in the history of the company. I mean, my goodness, you are an absolute legend. There is not an award you have not won. I think they've invented awards and named them after you, for crying out loud. But tell us about that transition from RE/MAX to the upgrade to EXP and why that took place.
Well, as far as, I was not active in real estate. I sold the company, like I said. Anything that came in, I just referred to my employees. And they got, they just got to the feelings that RE/MAX wasn't wasn't what it used to be.
Mm.
And so after that, 2017, when I sold it, and they started coming to me in 2023 and saying, we're just not happy. We're going to look around. I said, you do whatever you want as far as look around. If you find something, come back to me and let's talk about it. So they met with Compass. They met with Keller Williams. They met with, a couple others. Nothing grabbed them. And then I said, well, why don't you talk to my buddy, Jimmy Franklin? Jimmy's, was a competitor back in the Remax days. He went to EXP, I think 7 years ago. So he's now has 1,100 people in his group. Him and his son, Andrew, and his daughter, Sarah, good, became friends after real estate and never pushed me. Just, we were friends. We played golf. We made some trips together. Never tried to recruit me. But when Heather and them came to me, I said, go talk to Jimmy and Andrew. They came back excited and they said, this is what we want to do. It's what we've been looking for. And I said, okay, let me discuss it with them too. If I agree, then we'll all go. And so I met with Jimmy and Andrew, got the full pitch, the full understanding of how EXP works and what they were doing, and said, okay, it makes sense. Let's do it. And so I came over first. My old office followed me. And then I was able, in the first month, I brought 40 something people on board,
Amazing.
other friends from Remax, and ended last year, my first year, with 81. So my goal was to try to get 100. I failed, but we're still working on it.
That's okay, buddy. So, what do you think the future's in store for the legacy brands like these, these bricks and mortar franchise models with competing broker owners and all the rents and leases and mortgages and staff and copier leases and this and that? Like, where do you think that model's going?
Well, and I met with some people this weekend. I mean, I think Remax has real problems, and I'll just specifically say there, and it's because they're locked into and by the way, Remax was a great company. I enjoyed it a long time. 50
Spent a
years.
lot of years there too. Yeah.
Yeah. 50 years ago, they changed the real estate world.
Yeah.
Now the
Amen.
world's changing again. And they, I don't know how they adapt, truthfully, as far as they're locked into franchise model, which just puts a layer of cost on everybody. They're locked into, you have to have an office, which means then you need an office manager, you need a receptionist, you need all of those things. And those are just cost. And in the meantime, real estate agents are wanting to keep more and more and more of their real estate fee. So I think a lot of the old traditional companies are kind of locked into how do they adapt, sort of like a Kmart or something that way. They weren't able to adapt, and it appears now things can change, and can they come back? I mean, they're going to have to be real serious about retooling to be able to compete with the EXPs and other models like what we have.
Yeah. Well, from a pioneer in the industry and again one of the the top realtors across all companies in the world in history, it's yeah, it's an interesting observation. What would be some golden nuggets you'd have for someone starting right now in real estate to hit the ground running?
I've talked to thousands and thousands of people, agents over the years, and as far as always the question is, what's the secret? And as you know, there is no secret. It's hard work, it's follow up, it's taking care of your client, it's being true to the customer. Uh, my biggest thing I always told everybody is get up and go to work, because too many real estate agents wake up today not knowing what they're going to do. And you can't run a business. They don't understand they're in business for themselves. If you're a real estate agent, unless you're getting paid a salary, like my old employees, well, they worked for me. But if you're an independent agent and you're not getting a paycheck from someone, then you work for yourself. You're in business for yourself. And you have to understand that, which means you have to invest in your business. It means that you have to sweep people's houses if that's what it's needed. It means you have to do whatever it is. And you have to let everyone know you're in real estate. They can't call you if they don't know you. Now, the world's changed since my time. Social media, I'm not, I'm not very knowledgeable of social media. I'm not even a big fan of it. in my personal life, there's no reason for it to be on the media platform. But that's a very big part of real estate today. And each person has to find their niche as far as, you know, I remember when websites got started and, we didn't have cell phones type thing. I mean, all of that has changed so much that, uh, and, websites became a very important, powerful part of our real estate business while I was there. Nowadays, it's moved on. And yes, website's still something, but it's the social media world that's there. And I'm not, I'm on Facebook only because I, I get curious every now and then what's going on, but the rest of them, I'm not there. But you have to be on all of them if you're going to be in the real estate world today.
Yeah. I think one of the challenges with that, though, Ronnie, is that we have people getting obsessed with content creation and not working on their sales skills or learning
Yes.
how to communicate or qualify prospects or overcome objections. And so it's they've got this content creation obsession, but they don't know what to do with the leads when they have them, which is a whole other problem.
Yes. Well, it's still, even though it's not necessarily face to face per se, like we used to be, meeting people all the time, it's still the phone is the best way to connect to a customer, in person, talking on the phone, those are the way. Text, you don't create loyalty or friendships by text.
No.
And if you're going to be in the real estate business long term, you've got to get those repeat clients. You've got to get clients that love you so much they want to refer business to you. Like the clients that think you're the best realtor ever. And we need to be serious about our business. Too many people, when I'd talk to people in the early days, I would ask them, you know, who has read their contracts? Who's read a listing agreement? Every single word. And you know what? Most people haven't. And that's pretty scary that you're out advising people and having people sign listing agreements, sign contracts, and literally if you've ever read it, it's been a long time ago. That contracts and listing agreements have to be read constantly. You need to know what they mean, what everything means. You have to be a professional. And unfortunately, we have too many people, good people. There's a lot of good people in the real estate business, but they're not good realtors.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, listen, I know you're busy. I mean, heck, we're doing this while you're driving. So, I mean, you park, but that's great. You're safe. But I really appreciate your time. Really want to celebrate your success. I mean, it's an absolute incredible journey. You know what, Ronnie? I think you're still just getting started, man. Like, who knows what's in the future? I mean, you're doing all this land development now, and where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Hopefully, shooting my age in golf. That's my goal. I'll be 71. Wow, Friday. So my lowest score ever is 76. I shot 80. I shot 83 yesterday. So I'm hoping somewhere in the next year or two I'll shoot my age.
That's it. Any plans for retirement ever? No.
No, I don't. I don't want to have a bunch of employees ever again. That stage of my life is done. I enjoyed it. I love my people, but now I want businesses. Now it's going to be more my money making me money than it is me out there hard, actively working and chasing.
Yeah. Yeah. Send your soldiers out to get more soldiers.
That's it. Exactly right. So, and I've been very blessed in that. Phil, hey, I'm glad I ran into you in the elevator in Miami, and I wish you all the best. And anytime I can help, just holler.
That's great, Ronnie. Thanks for sharing, and what a great story. And see you on the greens and the fairways of the world, buddy.
All right. Take care.
Have a great day.
You
Ronnie
too.
Matthews. Cheers.